I'm TJ Walker, and I teach people how to speak their very best. Often I'm asked to coach presidents of countries, prime ministers all over the world. So I thought I'd share with you my opinions of how President Barack Obama did in his final address to the nation and what his rhetorical legacy will be. The final speech any president gives does get extra scrutiny. Washington's farewell address is still talked about today with his warnings of foreign entanglements. Eisenhower's final address still gets a lot of attention because of his warnings of the military-industrial complex. So presidents put a lot of time, energy, and effort into this. Let's step back a minute and rate Obama as an orator. Let's look at just the last 50 years. In the last 50 years, including the president-elect, there will be 10 presidents to choose from. I would put Obama clearly in the top three. I put him up there with Reagan and Clinton in terms of his public speaking skills. And I think, frankly, any fair-minded assessment of rhetorical skills by anyone would put him in that rank. And we're not talking politics or philosophy here today, folks, just public speaking skills. I'll address his message in a moment, but first I want to talk about what stylistically Obama did well in this speech, and frankly thinks he's done well throughout his presidency. When he walked out on stage last night, he had complete poise, confidence. He was not rushed. He was clearly enjoying the moment. Great presidents, great speakers, anytime they're on stage, act like they're having the time of their life. You saw that with Clinton. You saw that with Reagan. You didn't see that, for example, when George W. Bush sort of rushed out to the stage holding a script, head down. So that's the first thing he did before he even opened his mouth. He just looked like he was having fun. Next, he's in absolute no rush. If the audience wants to applaud, he gives them a chance. If they want to say something, he stops and listens to them. If they chant 4 more years, he soaks it in. That's what great speakers do. This makes the whole presentation more like a dialogue where the audience is communicating and you're listening as the speaker, and then you communicate back. It makes it so much more powerful, and that's quite often just a function of pausing. Let's dissect exactly what Obama did well this speech and that he does consistently well and has done throughout his presidency. First of all, he's using a teleprompter, as all presidents do. Here's what he does well, and this is really the key to using a teleprompter, is sometimes he speaks a little faster, sometimes he speaks a little slower, sometimes louder, sometimes softer. And most important of all, pausing. That's really the key to the teleprompter, but unfortunately, whether it's President Johnson or Gerald Ford, they kind of just plodded through. My fellow Americans. They spoke at the same speed, the same tone, the same volume. There was a consistency to them, and that's what made them sounded nervous and robotic. Obama didn't do that. He's a master at the teleprompter. He also has good body language. He's clearly loose. He's comfortable. He's not stiff. He's not grabbing papers. He's not grabbing the lectern. He's certainly not grabbing a PowerPoint projector, laser, or anything like that. His body is loose. His body is moving. Now, he's not walking all around the stage like a motivational speaker. You don't have to do that. But he was clearly not rigid, stiff, and uncomfortable. That makes him come across really well. And he dove right into the personal story, hopped right into how he started his career in Chicago, just a few neighborhoods away, doing community activist work with local churches. So he hopped right into a story with a local connection that connected him with the audience in the room. Even though he has a worldwide and a national audience, he did start by really connecting with the room. All of these things have made him an effective speaker. He always seems poised. If he does stumble, and that's very rare, he doesn't let it bother him. He'll pause and keep on going. And this is what makes him a master of public speaking, a master orator. But these are frankly things that you can learn and anyone can learn with enough practice. Now, President Obama had a lot of practice during the last 8 years, and really the last dozen years from when he entered the national scene back with his electrifying 2004 convention speech. But this is something you can practice at home, your office, anytime, just practicing. If you're using a teleprompter, the key to using a teleprompter is you have to keep practicing and making sure that your hands are moving, your face, and your voice has variety. Again, it comes back to speaking faster, slower, louder, softer, and pausing, and moving your body. Do that, and you can, in fact, come across as well as President Obama. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the substance. Most presidential farewell addresses are ignored because they don't really say anything that interesting, and people are kind of tired of that guy, ready for the next one. History will show if anything Obama said really stands out. What caught my ear was this quote. And increasingly, we become so secure in our bubbles that we start accepting only information, whether it's true or not, that fits our opinions, instead of basing our opinions on the evidence that is out there. And this trend represents a threat, a third threat to our democracy. Time will tell if this was the thing, the moment when people started really focusing on this problem. Eisenhower, who was not known as a great orator, sort of muddled his way through speeches, farewell addresses, and everything else, did capture people's attention because of the power of that idea, this danger of the military-industrial complex. And the fact that he is a Republican, a pro-military guy, a general is warning about it, made it so credible. Time will tell if Obama's message resonates similarly. What do you think of Obama's speech? By the way, I've linked to it in the comment section below on this Facebook page, so you can watch Obama's speech in full right there. What did you think of it? And folks, this is a public speaking forum, so if you don't like a particular policy he's advocated or political philosophy, I would ask you kindly, let's not turn this into a political debate, but talk about what you liked, and for that matter, what you didn't like about how he spoke. By the way, unless you think I'm just completely 100% in the tank for Obama, he's not a perfect speaker all the time, especially when it comes to speaking to the media. He has lots of uhs coming out, looking down. He's much better on the teleprompter, but overall I think will go down in history as one of the best orators in our country's history, certainly top 3 of the last 50 years. I'm T.J. Walker. Thanks for joining me. If you get any benefit or value out of this, please like my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/TJ Walker Interactive, and come back daily for more tips on effective public speaking.